Hi guys, and welcome to part 95 of Skyrim Mod Sanctuary. The first mod I'm going to show you is a mod called Chasing the Dragon, and despite the name, it actually has nothing to do with dragons whatsoever. It is a mod that tries to balance out the potion system in Skyrim. The basic problem with Skyrim's potion system is there is no reason to not abuse it. You can carry 500 potions in your backpack and just drink them one after another and never think anything about it. This mod attempts to give you a reason to actually think twice. It is a mod that adds two negative aspects of potions, and those two effects are toxicity and addiction. Now, toxicity is something that fans of a game called The Witcher will probably recognise, and in fact, it's implemented in a very similar manner. Every time you drink a potion, your body's toxicity goes up. The more potions you drink, the higher your toxicity. If your toxicity gets to 100%, you will start noticing some unpleasant visual effects, and you will also find your stamina, your magicka, and your health no longer regenerate, which of course is pretty unfortunate. Now don't worry, you can lower your toxicity back down to manageable levels either by waiting for fairly large periods of time. I am talking sort of a day to get from 100% down to the almost zero level, or you could drink a cure poison potion. But either way, if you don't do that, you are going to have a little problem with your regeneration. The entire mod is controllable from MCM, so you can actually tweak the values, the toxicity and so on. You can even set up a heads-up display element to appear so you can see the toxicity as it happens, and a little green bar grows. And you can customize it to your own needs, so it doesn't have to be too aggressive. The amount of toxicity a potion has is actually based upon its value, which is a fairly good idea. The higher the value of the potion, the stronger it probably is, and therefore the more effect it has on your body. So keep your eye on that number. All round, this works pretty much as you would expect. You just want to keep your toxicity at manageable levels, preferably below 50%. Anything over 50%, you might start noticing the slight visual effect. Keep it below 50 and you're fine. So it's going to keep the number of potions you take in a fairly low level, 3 or 4 a day, and you should be, well, maybe 2 or 3 a day. Again, you can tweak the values yourself. But the second downside, addiction, is what makes it a slightly more complicated matter, because each time you drink a potion, there is a chance you will gain an addiction. And if you become addicted to potions, you will need to keep drinking potions to stay healthy. And you can actually see this on the heads-up display bar. If your bar turns from green to red, you are now addicted to potions. Any potions will do. It's just you now rely on magic potions to feel good. And you are now forced to take potions on a regular basis or suffer the consequences. Now, the consequences for not drinking potions when you are in an addicted state increase with time. So first of all, you go into nephrosis, where once again you stop regenerating anything, which obviously is annoying. If you go further without drinking potions, you go into catalepsy, which means you get a reduction on all of your skills, 20 points, and you gain skills slower, although with the other effects, I'm not totally sure you'll be out increasing your skills anyway. After that comes marasmus, which will penalise your skills another 20 points, and yet again the skill gain by a further 10%, stacking on the previous one, but it also reduces your movement by 25% and your carry weight by 50, so things are getting pretty bad now. However, if you keep working through the withdrawals after this, you actually get your system cleaned of the addiction. So after a few days of severe pain, you will be once again clear. But don't worry too much, believe it or not, you can actually remove toxicity and addictions in a far easier manner. The easiest manner for toxicity is to drink a cure poison potion. It will remove all of the toxins from your body, and to remove addictions you can drink the cure disease potion, which will cure your body of diseases. So there is an easy way out. Please note, drinking the cure disease potion to get rid of your addiction does increase your toxicity, so you should be aware of that. You can, of course, go along to a shrine and have your disease, your addiction cured just by praying at a shrine. All in all, being addicted is a state I would recommend avoiding, and it gives you yet more incentive to minimize the amount of potions that you use. All in all, this mod just makes abusing potions a bad idea. It makes it feel a little bit more balanced and adds a kind of entertaining sense of realism to the entire concept of just drinking those potions down one after another. It can be a little annoying if you're the sort of person who is really used to drinking massive numbers of potions, as I was with this character. And I've not actually played with the mod, I've not played Skyrim in several weeks, so I don't know how it would change my playstyle, but I imagine pretty dramatically actually. However, it is very customizable through the MCM, and so I think this is probably one of those mods I would have tried. But either way, great idea, really like the way it's been done, and if you are a realism junkie, bad pun intended, you might want to check this one out. Now if you are not into realism, that last mod may have had you smashing your face into the keyboard and screaming, "Why the hell do I want to see this? I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be a junkie. I want to be an impressive warrior. Show me something shiny that I can kill people with." Well, for you, I will go one better and give you two such things. Here you have the Nameless Light and Skycutter. Both of these mods are by the same mod author, Favoured Soul, and they are both visually very impressive. Skycutter has an almost Daedric look in the build, but also a Dwemer feel to it. Perhaps it's the glow, perhaps it's the metal. It is a fairly large sword for a one-hander, but it still manages to look quite functional. But of course, it is dominated by the light. It is a glowing blue light, and it's very reminiscent of the Dawnbreaker sword. It looks pretty damned amazing, especially at night. It does not give off any light, but then neither does the Dawnbreaker sword by default. There is a mod that adds light to that sword, and if you're using a mod that makes the AI detect torches, you wield Dawnbreaker and they will see you quite clearly. With this sword you don't get that, and I think I would like to see somebody make a compatibility patch, because I would quite like to use this sword, but again have it so when I drew it, everyone can see you, because they should. The Nameless Light sword is a lot less ostentatious, but it is still pretty visually impressive. It has a really nice model, it has very high quality textures and a lot of little details that make it very interesting. And it has a little glowing gem in the hilt, and it is not as bright as the Skycutter sword. You really do need to be in the dark to see it glowing. And whilst it is a little more sedate than its cousin the Skycutter, it is a very impressive and somewhat intimidating weapon. And even in the bright light of day, both weapons are definitely going to catch your eye. The stats on both weapons are reasonably good. It puts it in the top end weapons, the Daedric artifact style weapons, and you can get them a little earlier than normal, probably if you're a smith. You use the steel smithing perk to create the Nameless Light, and the Dwarven smithing for Skycutter, so you might get them a little earlier than you would some of the other artifacts, but not much, to be honest, because as the author pointed out, the Dawnbreaker sword is not that hard to get reasonably early on. Both swords are ornate in different ways, both swords look functional, and in the end, two great weapons. The last mod I'm going to show you is a little whimsical. If, like me, you enjoy reading some of the books in Skyrim, you may have come across a book called Kolb and the Dragon. And it is a little adventure book. It's obviously aimed for kids, probably. And then when you read it, as it says there, an adventure for Nord boys, Kolb and the Dragon. And many of you will have remembered these type of books from your childhood. Kolb was a brave Nord warrior. One day his chief asked Kolb to slay an evil dragon that threatened their village. Go through the mountain pass, Kolb, his chief said. You will find the dragon on the other side. And then it tells you at the bottom, turn to page 2. Kolb took his favourite axe and shield and walked to the pass, where he found a cold cave, a windy cave, and a narrow trail. It then gives you 3 choices. Do you enter the cold cave? Do you enter the windy cave? Or do you walk up the trail? And for example, if you wished to walk up the trail, you would pick page 12. And so you would 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Climbing up, Kolb found a camp. He met a wise man who shared bread and showed 2 paths to the dragon's lair. One went through the hills, the other through a marsh, and so on. And you would continue until you find a page that says the end, and you will have your ending. And all that the mod Kolb and the Dragon does is turn that book into, well, an adventure that is playable directly through the menu system. So I click Play Adventure, and you get the same text, and I can choose to turn to page 2. I can then choose to walk up the trail. Climbing up, Kolb found a camp. He met a wise man who shared bread and showed 2 paths to the dragon's lair. One went through the hills, the other through a marsh. I shall go to the hills. Kolb stepped onto a rocky hill. He could see the dragon sleeping below and a tavern off a road nearby. I'll visit the tavern. And so on. Oh dear. I got an end. Kolb stopped at the tavern to rest before fighting the dragon. High elves ran the tavern, however, and poisoned his mead, so they could steal his gold. Ooh, and thus ends the tale of Kolb and the dragon, who should not have stayed at the tavern when there was a dragon to kill. There is a lesson to be learned there. So, as you can see, all it does is, whenever you read the book, it gives you a choice. Do you want to read the book the normal way, or would you like to quickly go through it? Now, it could be argued that it is slightly more immersive to actually flick the pages. And it is. It definitely is. However, if you want to go through and find out every single ending, turning of the pages does get a little annoying, and you might find after 2 or 3 read-throughs you think, you know what? Okay, let's just do it this way. It does. Oh God. A strong gust of wind blew Kolb's torch out and knocked him into a pit, where split his head and died. Okay? Spoiler alert, don't choose that one. So anyway, as you can see, it just turns that little playable adventure into a slightly easier to manage playable adventure. I love the idea, and it made me chuckle. Okay guys, that is about it for this video. I have released a few new mod organizer videos since the last time. I have made a video about Steam Workshop and mod organizer, and Finis, the animations mod. I did a Skyrim mod sanctuary video about that mod as well, so feel free to check those out. That series is continuing. I am working on the next mod organizer video, and it's a little more in depth, so there's going to be a delay on that one. So in fact, I may even be starting a new Skyrim tutorial series soon, maybe, for another tool. And sorry to be so cryptic, but I will release details about that when I am sure. And of course, as new mods grab my attention, I will show them to you in this series. I am ending this video, as always, with the screenshots you guys have been posting. A big thank you to everyone who has done so. And if you would like to post your own images, I will leave a link down below. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video you join me for, whichever that might be. And until then, remember, as always, have fun. A quick note about the website you keep seeing pop up at the end of my videos. Some of you have probably gone along and checked it out, and it's a bit basic at the moment. It is a work in progress, and I was hoping to have more of it done by now. We actually have a structure for the content that's going to be there. I just have not had time at the moment to add all of the data I need to add. A lot of it just involves putting stuff in by hand. I am going to get around to finishing it off, and once it is finished I will do an announcement video and let you know. It is going to involve features such as being able to search for a mod and then actually find the videos that I've made regarding that mod and that type of thing. But I will keep you up to date as it progresses.